Okay, video number 3. We are going to draw a shark, a chameleon, a snake, and what is this one called, guys? It's not a pterodactyl. It's a raptor. There it is. Sorry, I always want to call it the wrong name. But this one is a velociraptor. So first we're going to start with the tiger shark. So for the shark, what we're going to do is draw in a long, lean eye shape or football shape for the body. Then we're going to extend the tail out, getting very narrow at the back. And then from here, we're going to draw in his fin. It's much larger on the top, much smaller at the bottom. This line kind of goes up like this and back in. You know what? Let me straighten that line out. You really want to make sure that the shark fin looks very, very sharp and pointy on the top. Sharp and pointy on the bottom as well. Also, of course, the dorsal fin right in the middle of this football shape. You want to make sure this guy looks very sharp and pointy as well. Even this fin coming down very sharp. The sharpness of these fins, I feel like, helps to make this creature look even more lethal. So make sure you guys have those really sharp corners, okay? There's even a little guy like right there. I didn't know there was one. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the shark face. The face also helps this creature to look very lethal. For the eye, you're going to start with a circle, straight line like that, straight up, so it looks very, very crude and mean. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to draw the mouth first. Do a mouth right from here that curves up in a wicked kind of smile. And then the eye sits very far forward on the shark's face. And then we just have 3 gills right there. That's the basis of it. You can add stripes and stuff later if you want. Okay, the chameleon. The chameleon is another one that I feel like is surprisingly hard. It's difficult to get this very forward head kind of posture. So pay attention to that as I draw it, okay? Can you guys see what I'm doing here? Yeah. Oh, there's the chameleon, if you can see that better. So for the chameleon, I'm going to start with, you know what, sorry, it's just not very comfortable to draw right there. I'm going to move you guys in a little bit more. Ah, there we go. Now I don't have to be drawing like 2 feet away from me. Okay, so there's the chameleon at the bottom. So I'm going to draw in the chameleon body to start. Just an oval shape, a long oval for the body. The chameleon head is going to sit pretty much directly out in front of the body. Did I say head? I meant chameleon head if I didn't. Okay, so there's going to be kind of like a lumpy shape right here that kind of connects the head to the body. All right? Then he's got a really bulgy eye shape up at top. And then he's got a little snout that comes out. It's kind of like a triangle, maybe like a real skinny trapezoid. Okay, kind of like that. And then this area kind of droops down into the body from the mouth. Make it like a smooth curve all the way, okay? Now the tail is really interesting. It kind of does this thing where it kind of like curls down and back. It's actually wrapped around the branch that it's by. So I'm just going to draw one skinny line first for the tail. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to outline it. If you can't figure out the loop, maybe rewind it, look really closely at mine. But basically it looks like one part of the tail goes under another. So you could erase if you need to, like just draw it right over and then erase over one. Okay, now the feet. So the back leg is going to go forward, down, and the foot goes forward. This front leg is going to go down and out, and then it's almost like his little foot's just kind of grabbing onto that branch there. Actually, it definitely looks like it's grabbing onto that branch. If you want to draw in the branch too, you can. Feel free to do that when you're drawing out your animal. Here's his other arm, definitely grabbing onto that branch. So we're going to see kind of like his little hands spread out. This one, he has kind of got like pointy little fingers that we can see. Maybe there's like a thumb back there. I'm going to draw ovals over these straight line once I get him drawn in. Oval, oval. His back foot, what's going on with his back foot? I don't really know. I drew it out as an oval to begin with. You could simplify the feet, just draw them out as ovals. I think that'll work. Or you could get a little bit more detailed and draw in like each individual toe if you want. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to define his eye. I'm going to define this circle right here and just draw like a little crease where the eye should be like that. The last step is just to draw some little like tiny spikies down the back. They are really tiny, really intricate like that. Okay, now the snake. The snake is another one that I feel like people would just draw in like, here's my snake, okay? I don't want that action right there. I want it to look much more like an actual snake. What you'll notice is it's narrower by the neck and the end of the tail and much wider towards the center. And the head has a very intricate shape. On this one, you can see I did a zoomed in version of what the head should look like. And I'm gonna do that again, where I do like a very detailed version of how to draw the head, okay? All right, so in order to draw your snake, can you guys see the snake in here? Good. I'm gonna start with just drawing a line for the center of his body. Okay, so the body coils up, coils down. Then there's a really big coil here on the corner. There's a pretty good sized coil like right in here. And then the tail finishes off kind of straight like that, okay? Now that I have the position of the body, I'm gonna draw in the head and then I'll draw in the thickness of the body as it goes along. So to draw a snake head, I kind of start with an oval and then I add in a trapezoid for the front of his snout. You might even want to kind of square up this edge and this corner, this edge and this corner. So basically, let me draw a bigger version of that. Here's the oval, diagonal, diagonal, flat nose. And then I squared up this side, and kind of even squared up the corner at the back where he connects to the neck of the snake, the body right here, okay? When you go to draw the eyes, you're gonna draw a crease with a half circle and a crease with a half circle on each side of the snake head, okay? You would have nostrils that come in, and then obviously later on you could add a tongue. Even though we don't necessarily see his tongue, it's still fun to add it in later if you want. So next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna start drawing in the thickness of the snake body, trying to pay really close attention to like where does the body get very, very thick? How big are these loops where they meet? I'm really paying attention to those shapes and the thickness to make a very much more realistic shape. A lot of people are like, I'm gonna pick the snake because it's the easiest one. And then they just don't actually look at the snake. They just draw in like a basic shape. But I really, really want you to be looking at him and trying to draw in, or her, and drawing in every bit that you can, trying to capture all of the snake's details. Because it's an interesting looking creature, so try and not simplify it too much. It's kind of thick through these parts. I'm gonna get a little wider here. Later on, you can obviously draw that like diamondy triangle pattern going over the snake. There we go. That's a much better snake than that little squiggly over here, right? All right, next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna draw the Velociraptor. It's super cool, but also this one is really surprisingly hard. Even for me, I've drawn it plenty of times, and it's still difficult for me to get this animal right. One really hard thing about it, in my opinion, is that the body and the head are fairly similar in size. The body is a little bit larger, but not very much. So I'm gonna draw kind of like an egg-like shape for his torso, and then I'm just gonna define this back hip a little bit more, okay? So egg, hip joint. The head's gonna come up here, and the circle for the head is pretty large. His snout is the same. It just kind of connects to the top of the head and the bottom of the head, and is a little bit kind of pointed at the nose, kind of like that. The neck connects down into here, into the body, and then back down in here, kind of like so. Maybe it's actually a little bit narrower towards the middle of the neck, which is strange for a neck. Usually they get wider at the bottom. Okay, now the back leg. The back leg is super fun to draw, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go kind of down, forward on a diagonal, back on a diagonal, and then forward again on a diagonal, like a lightning bolt, okay? The thigh is gonna get much wider at the top, and then even this middle part of the leg is also much wider at the top, kind of like a chicken leg, lima bean kind of shape, if you will. The foot gets much wider at the bottom, like a triangle, okay? And then I don't think you can draw a Velociraptor without drawing out very sharp tail ends on the ends of these toes, okay? So there's his back foot. You know what, I'm just gonna throw in this tail since I'm back here. The tail kind of goes straight back, maybe with a slight curve downward, and then pretty much comes straight back into the body like that. The tail is very large. You could think that the tail would like balance the weight of the creature, you know, going backwards, especially because his front legs are not touching the ground. So I'm gonna draw in, I think I'm gonna draw in this one front leg, and then I'll kind of draw in the leg and the arm on the other side of the body. So this arm is also gonna look very lightning bolt-like, down, forward, down. His hand once more looks like a triangle, And we have two things that kind of look like fingers, if you will, that kind of like, this one goes down, this one kind of curls back, and he's got really sharp talons at the end again. So there's his front kind of hand, skinny oval here, wider oval for the upper part of the arm. We're gonna see the lower parts of this back leg, kind of coming forward, 2 toes. I might not do as much detail on like the talons and such of that back leg. All right, there's some of that back leg, and then the other arm. I'm just gonna see the lower part of this arm, the hand going here, the fingers maybe get overlapped by that other arm, okay? And then his eye. The eye is pretty cool. I'm gonna draw it in here, and then I'm gonna draw you guys a bigger version. Here's his nostril, eye. The eye in a bigger version, he has like a very snake-like pupil, kind of like that. I think it actually looks like a diamond, kind of like that going through the eye. It's pretty neat. Okay, I'm gonna stop this video here, guys.